hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Happy Sunday, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as on YouTube. It is Sunday, May 25th. Crazy how fast this month has gone. We have one game out there on the ice, and you're right. Let's make some freaking money, you guys. It is time to get going. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. Now, we have the Dallas Stars traveling to Edmonton for Game 3. The series tied 1-1 apiece, but let's just have a look at what we were able to cash in on yesterday. Great night out there on the ice for us as the Florida Panthers, they won Game 3 back in Florida. Now, we talked about those lines, looked kind of fishy, but hopefully you guys stayed with me with the Florida Panthers. We took them in the first period on that puck line, laying the half a goal. We got a 1-0 first period for the Florida Panthers, and it was nerve-wracking, right? Because we saw Carolina go on that 5-minute power play that started at the end of that first period, but thankfully, Florida just had an outstanding kill of that 5-minute penalty, and we were able to get out of that first period and go into the second with that penalty still alive, but us cashing the first period puck line for the Florida Panthers, laying half a goal at like plus 164. Now, we also had Florida's team total over 3.5. And it looked kind of sketchy because we did have a 2-2 game going into that third period, but we saw 5 goals in that third period to get us over the 3.5. We got that for great plus money as well. So hopefully you guys had that. It was a solid day out there on the ice. And now Game 4 will be tomorrow between these two teams. The question is, are we going to see the gentleman's sweep or the full sweep here for the Florida Panthers? Game 4, of course, in Florida. And Carolina did change goaltending. So it wasn't Frederik Andersen. It was Cherchakov in net. So it was a solid performance out of Florida. Carolina, Rob Brindamore even called it out. The Carolina Hurricanes, their big players, are not stepping up. You're getting the best out of their 4 young rookies out there. And for Carolina to win the next game, you will need to see Chesnikov, Aho. Those big names really step up in that performance on Monday. So let's jump into today's matchup. You guys super excited for this? This is a Western Conference final switch to Edmonton. Now, this one tied up 1-1 apiece. So how this has played out thus far. We saw the Dallas Stars win Game 1. They won it in a huge comeback effort. They got that 6-3 win, and we know that was a fall apart of the Edmonton Oilers in that third period, and Edmonton answered back in that last game. We saw the Edmonton Oilers and Stuart Skinner get a shutout win 3-0. Now, Skinner got a lot of slack for that first game out there, just saying he doesn't look like an NHL goaltender. And I tell you, I've criticized Stuart Skinner over the years, but damn, he has played some very solid games. And yeah, he can be hot and cold, but Skinner seems to be turned back on again. You're looking at 25 save shots on goal in that last game, and they were firing on him in that one. Now, we did see the block shots. Edmonton was able to block 17 shots. The Dallas Stars gave Jake Oettinger protection with 17 as well. Both of the teams registering those 25 shots on goal, but Dallas unable to hit Skinner, where Edmonton did put up those 3 goals. So low scoring game in the last one. You know, for the series, I am riding that over 35.5. 9 goals in the first game, 3 goals in the last. So we're at 12. So we got a little bit of a ways to go, but I do think this series goes deep. Now, in this first game back in Edmonton, I really do think Edmonton, you know I like them for the series. You know I like them all the way to hoist the cup. And I think in this first game at home, Edmonton is the play. I think there's a couple other ways that we can play it, though. We're going to look at a couple of different things. Players for their props. We're going to look at that first period and the live betting situation for that second. And don't forget, I am live on the grid today, 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern as well. Today with Scott Wetzel, tomorrow with Tom Vecchio. So make sure you join me for those live shows. We'll be live betting this game as the puck does drop at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be into this game. We will be through that first period. And then we'll be able to look at the second. But going in, what I'm looking at right now, the bets that I want to take pregame is the first period. I want to isolate that first period. I do think the over 1.5 is juicy at -132, but worth a look here at the over 1.5. I expect 2 goals in the first period, but what I like better than the over 1.5, because you guys know I hate the juice, is both teams to score. I expect both of these teams to come out hot. We know Skinner stopped 25 shots on goal, but even hot goaltenders in that first game back on their own home ice can let in an early one, and I do think Dallas hits him early. So I'll take both teams to score in the first period at +158. Jake Ottinger has been taking a lot of shots on his net and only 3 goals in that last game. And he faced 5 power plays. Edmonton had 5 power plays. They converted once. I think we're going to see a higher scoring game in this one, at least in that first period. So over 1.5 at -132, both teams to score at +158. I love. When we look at game 2, because I forgot to give you guys the breakdowns, the conversions on the power plays, Edmonton did have 5 opportunities. They were only able to convert on 1. Dallas had 2 opportunities and 0 goals in that one. We know Skinner stood on his head. Both of these teams have absolutely dangerous power plays. Edmonton, with all of those chances, I do think we have more ability here on their home ice for them to convert. And Dallas, it's only a matter of time before that power play does convert. So I do think we're going to look at power play points today, but you look at physicality, 50 hits versus 29, Edmonton registering the 50, the shots on goal were right around the same, and the block goals, 17 for Edmonton and 14 for the Dallas Stars. And then the face-off, Dallas was actually able to win 59.6% of those face-offs. I'm expecting Edmonton to have more control with last change here, though, in this one. So you guys know that I like the over 1.5 in the first period, -132. Both teams to score at +158. And then for the live betting situation, if we get both teams scoring in the first period, I do expect that lockdown on the defensive side in the second. I will be on in-game live today looking at that second period under 1.5. Now, if you want to live bet it now or bet it now before this game kicks off, the under 1.5 in the second period, just let me see if it comes up here. Yeah, it's -142. Or sorry, +142 for the under 1.5. I'm going to take a chance on it, you guys. If we do see the first period go under 1.5, the second period will go over. So it's kind of like a catch-22. You either bet it now at +142. I do think, though, because I'm looking for that first period to go over, that we'll probably get more value on the second period to the under. And I know it's scary to take an under in these situations with these two teams, especially when we're rolling with the series over. But what I'm looking for is 2 to 3 goals in the first period, the lockdown 1 goal in the second, and then that third period for us to probably go over the 1.5, but you're going to have to lay like -200 because of the empty netter situation. So I wouldn't hit that third period, but I think the Oilers come out nice and strong and get the win. So looking at odds right now on this game, we have the Edmonton Oilers at a -164 favorite. You guys know I can't take that out of principle. I kind of just want to take the Dallas Stars at +136 to get the win. These teams are going to come out nice and strong versus each other, but I just can't get there with the Dallas Stars. I think this is Edmonton's game. I do think Dallas wins one of these games in Edmonton, so I will be looking at the odds in that next game. I think if you want to go into this for the full game, you look at the Edmonton Oilers laying 1.5 at +152, and you just got to pray for that empty netter and not overtime in this game. Now, this total is 6.5. I'm going to stay right off. The first period is where I expect the goals. The third period is where I expect the goals. If we get 0 or only 1 goal in the second, like I'm expecting, we're going to come really close to that total of 6.5. So I will miss the plus money to the over because I could see a case where we only hit the 6 goals and we stay under, and I don't want to lay -138. So give me the first period, and then give me, if you want to take Edmonton, I would take Edmonton laying 1.5 at +152. I almost think if Edmonton wins this, they will win it by 3 goals. I think it will be one of those style of games where Ottinger just allows those goals to come rolling in, but I do like that first period better. So then when we're looking at the Oilers in the playoffs so far, they're 4-1 at home this season. They've outscored their opponents 21-14. So it does lean towards that puck line bet. So laying 1.5 goals in the full game at plus 154. Players I'm going to look at now. I do think the Dallas Stars get on the board today, hence the reason I'm taking both teams to score in the first period, as both these teams come out nice and strong. But I'm going to look at Wyatt Johnston here. Wyatt Johnston for the goal is plus 240. His power play point at plus 370. I think both of them are worth half a unit on each. He scored a goal in 4 of the Dallas Stars' last 5 road games in Edmonton. So I do think Wyatt Johnston should be able to get on the board tonight. If you want the power play at plus 370, I like it as well, because I do think that power play is going to convert for Dallas tonight. Now, in the last game, he had 3 shots on goal. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists in the postseason and 4 power play points included in those numbers. So he's been solid on the power play. He's been solid at getting those goals as well. So Wyatt Johnston for the goal at plus 240, half a unit on that and half a unit on the power play point at plus 370. And then Mikko Rantanen. There's no denying what Mikko Rantanen can do out there in the playoffs. He has 9 goals and 11 assists in the playoffs. 17 of those have been power play points. So Mikko Rantanen tonight for the goal, you're only getting plus 160, but it's still plus 160. His power play point coming in at plus 185. I do think I'm going to put half a unit on both of those. And then when we turn to the Edmonton Oilers, no denying what Evan Bouchard is able to do. Now, we're riding Evan Bouchard for the series, but he has 2 assists in that last game, 0 shots on goal. He has 49 assists over his last 50 playoff games. Bouchard has been so solid. His anytime assist today at minus 111. His power play point at plus 180. I love both of those bets. Half a unit on each. And then Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid here rolling in for the goal at plus 140. His power play point at plus 100. He scored just 3 goals. Just 3. How the heck has Connor McDavid only scored 3 goals in the postseason? Yes, he's been getting those assists. He has been solid out there, but I think his time is due for the goal. I do think 2 goals for Connor McDavid, definitely worth a sprinkle. So let's just pull up the 2 goals for Connor McDavid tonight at plus 900. You guys know I'm taking a shot on Connor frickin' McDavid. He scored just 3 goals. So yeah, we'll put him at 5 goals in the postseason, but his attempts in Edmonton, he makes 8.8 attempts, 4 shots on goal. 5.2 is his average shots on goal per game in Edmonton. So look for Connor McDavid to come out nice and strong. 1 goal at plus 140, 2 goals at plus 900. I'm going to take a shot, half a unit on both instead of the power play point. If you just want to play that power play point, it is plus 100. So you guys, it should be a great night. The depth of these teams has been there for both of them. So you can look further down the list. When we look at that last game, we know Dallas got held off the board. Roope Hintz is listed day-to-day. So question mark around Roope Hintz. Again, I think Dallas can make a win in one of these games. I would expect it to be the next one in Edmonton. If it is the next one, we're going to get way more than plus 136. So hopefully the storyline plays out the way that I'm wanting, because I'm wanting to take the Dallas Stars if they're at plus 175. Underdog in Edmonton. And I do think if Edmonton gets a 2-goal win tonight covering that puck line, we're going to see game 4 open up as the Dallas Stars, a bigger dog than they are today at plus 136. So keep your fingers crossed, you guys, because we're always hunting for that plus money. But Connor McDavid in the last game did get an assist, 4 shots on goal. So at some point, Jake Ottinger has to allow those shots on goal by Connor McDavid to convert 2 goals. So I'm expecting it to be tonight, plus 900 for the 2+ goals. We did see Brent Kulak get a goal in the last game. Connor Brown get a goal in the last game. Wallman get an assist and 3 shots on goal. Leon Draisaitl get an assist and 2 shots on goal. We know Leon Draisaitl has been so strong at getting those goals as well. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, really solid game last one. 1 goal and 1 assist. Now you guys know I've been looking at Evander Kane. He's yet to convert that goal. His shots on goal last game was 3 shots. Zach Hyman, 3 shots as well. I do think those guys are going to step up in this one too. So it should be a fantastic game out there. Edmonton should hire her. Yeah, you should definitely hire me, Edmonton, the Oilers, as the hockey scout. And I'm going to get you guys the worst players because I'm a Flames fan. Maybe the Flames should hire me. So no, I appreciate the comments. This is the Oilers flat spot. The Oilers have had flat spots coming home, but I don't think they can take their foot off the pedal in this game. I do think even though Skinner is coming off that shutout, we saw 2 consecutive shutouts versus Vegas. Remember that. I think this is one where we really see that other push, the next level of push out of Edmonton. And I think when they get up 2-1 in this series, that's where we see the flat spot in game 4. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to roll with the Edmonton Oilers. Wyatt Johnston normally steps up on the road. Yeah, he's been fantastic on the road. If this does go to overtime, if it goes to overtime and the Dallas Stars are the team that makes that pushback, if we see the shift in momentum, I would be looking at one player from each team for the overtime goal, and Wyatt Johnston would be that player from the Dallas Stars. And I would actually probably put a full unit on him versus a half a unit on Edmonton if we've seen that momentum shift in the third where it's Dallas coming back. And Wyatt Johnston has been able to get us those game clinchers in overtime for Dallas before too. They're coming off the road game in the afternoon. Yeah, I completely understand. Edmonton gets in these little funks, but I don't think they're going to underestimate what they're seeing in the Dallas Stars. This Edmonton team is playing at such a different level than we've seen in prior years. I think this defense, and we look at it, you guys, and this is the thing. Okay, so biggest weakness of Edmonton, right? Everyone always says it's Stuart Skinner. Well, Stuart Skinner now has 3 shutouts in the postseason. If Skinner becomes their strength, if all of a sudden Skinner is not talked about as the goaltender that doesn't deserve to be here, and the defense continues to click like they are, giving him those block shots, Edmonton has the forward units. That's never been a question on those top lines. Like, you look at the top line of Edmonton, they are getting the most shot attempts across the whole league. Like, this is just straight fire. We've also got the depth. I do think because of this, because if Skinner can play at this level that he's played in the 3 games that he's got a shutout, we could see the Edmonton Oilers hoist the Stanley Cup for the first time since 1990. So I do have a lot of faith in this team. You guys know absolutely that kills me to say that, but it absolutely does. Skinner has 3 shutouts and only 3 wins. Not sustainable. Yeah, I know it's hard for him out there, but I think the game 4 is the fall down. So first goal scorer for the game from Dallas. Yeah, Rupe Hintz is listed as day-to-day, so I'd be kind of cautious with Rupe Hintz. I'd probably go with Mikko Rantanen for that first goal scorer, or Wyatt Johnston. So Connor McDavid got 5 shots actually, and he couldn't score for me. Yeah, Connor McDavid should come out nice and strong in this one and get a goal. I really do think he gets a couple of goals in this one. So let's get going. Florida said, hold my beer. I know. Edmonton really has an opportunity to repeat going back to the Cup and then to make things right from what they did last year. So I hate to say it. I love Florida. Florida is where my heart wants to win the Stanley Cup. I will be overjoyed if the Florida Panthers win it this year. This team is absolutely elite as well. We're going to have a complete battle. 7 games if they go there. Yeah. The matchup is coming. The matchup is absolutely coming. Yeah, stop the first shot. I completely agree. I love your comments, you guys, all jumping in here. The Panthers, they do look completely unstoppable right now, but look at who they're playing. The Carolina Hurricanes, looking at their path, this is their first real pressure, in my opinion. You look at them coming out of the Metro and what they faced. I just don't think they faced opponents like the Florida Panthers. And I think the Florida Panthers finishing this one nice and quick will give Edmonton a little bit of a harder time, but it's going to be crazy. So recap of all of the bets, you guys. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you so much. If you can hit that like button, hit that retweet button, and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It does keep this show viable for next season. We will run every single day again of the NHL season, including the playoffs. So all you have to do, hit that like, hit that retweet, and drop below what you're liking out there on the ice tonight. So game 3 between the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. Give me over 1.5 in the first period if you want to lay juice at -132. I don't think you need to lay it. I'll take both teams to score in the first period at +158. Give me the Oilers team total over 3.5 goals at plus 106. I think this is a game. They hit Jake Ottinger and they hit Jake Ottinger hard. 4-1 at home in the playoffs and outscoring their opponents 21-14. The Oilers on the puck line. Only way you can live bet it right now, laying 1.5 at plus 154. You can either do that or you can hope Dallas scores the first goal and then Edmonton answers back in that first period. If Dallas scores the first goal, that's going to take Edmonton to a really nice price here. They won't be a minus 164 money line. They should be right around plus 100, plus 110, plus 120, even as the books overreact. At that point, I definitely will be coming back in on Edmonton. On the money line, if Dallas goes up 2 goals and then Edmonton gets that third goal in the first period, even better if they go up by 2, because then Edmonton will be like plus 200, plus 240 on that money line. And absolutely, will I be reinvesting? Yes. So live betting these games, the overreaction to the books, I do think Edmonton gets a win at the end of the day. So we know Edmonton can fight back from any deficit out there as well. This is a team that never stops fighting till that final buzzer. So I do think live betting Edmonton tonight should be a moneymaker. So I will take, going into it, the Oilers minus 1.5 plus 154. Both teams to score in the first period. At plus 158, the Oilers team total over 3.5 at plus 106, and look for those live betting situations. The goal scorers, half a unit on each of their props. So half a unit on the goal for Wyatt Johnston at plus 240, half a unit on the power play point at plus 370, half a unit on the goal for Mikko Rantanen at plus 160, and half a unit on the power play point for Mikko Rantanen at plus 185. And then half a unit on Connor McDavid for the goal at plus 140, Connor McDavid for 2+ goals at plus 900, Evan Bouchard for the assist at minus 111, Evan Bouchard for the power play point at plus 180. So that is where I'm going tonight on the icy, guys. I want to wish you all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there. It's going to be a great night on the ice. So I'm not wearing green for the Dallas Stars. You know that I am all over Edmonton to get through. It's hard for me. It's really hard for me. You know, I like Wyatt. I really like Wyatt. I would gladly take a Wyatt Johnson jersey. I love players out there, you guys, for sure. So yeah, let's not overthink it. You're taking Dallas on the money line. I don't blame you. At plus 136, the value is there. You could get a nice live betting situation as well. If Dallas goes up, then coming back and kind of hedging your bet at plus 136 on one side. And then if you can get Edmonton, we know Edmonton does fight back. So I do think there's many ways to tackle it today. Yeah. Ran him for the goals. Absolutely. Okay, guys, all the best in all your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. Again, join me, please, 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 on In-Game Live. It's a lot of fun, you guys. Drop your comments on X, and let's make some freaking money today. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on SportsGrid TV on X.